victory tonight. That's my personal opinion.
You've been calling it
Even
all
if
week,
he loses
Larry.
tonight.
You've
Let's
been
keep
calling
the
it
guy
all
in there
week.
and let's see what he can do for the rest of the season, for God's sake.
Hey, I'm with you. You've been calling it all week that the Browns are not only going to win, but you've been saying they're going to win big tonight. So from your lips to you-know-who, man, up to his ears, maybe they'll make something happen tonight. So I appreciate it. Larry, I got to go.
I really feel, J-Rock Daddy, that we're going to see the same Cleveland Browns dominance in this game that we've seen against their other AFC North rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody thought the Steelers may have been a bad football team. I got to tell you, J-Rock, Roethlisberger's been on fire the last 2 games. He did a number on the Indianapolis Colts, which is a fine football team with Andrew Luck at the night out of the football game. They ran around. This Cleveland Browns team can compete with anybody. The sad reality, J-Rock, with all Cleveland sports, lower themselves to the level of the opponent they're playing. They're going to be psyched up and ready to go tonight. You mark it down. LG's predicting a win. And as you said, J-Rock Daddy, I predict a big win. I predict the same kind of victory that we had with the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple of weeks ago. Because this is where the beans all get counted, baby. This is what's going to take Hoyer and separate him from any other kind of quarterback controversy talk coming out of the Cleveland. I'm feeling good about this one, and it's the first time I've been feeling this good in a number of years, 15 to be exact, J-Rock Daddy.
Oh, that's true, for sure. I've been with you for a while. LG, my man, I got to let you go. Great phone call to kick things off.
I calmed down a little today, too, so you didn't have to raise your voice. Did you like that, J-Rock Daddy? I'll be more excited tomorrow after the victory, so be ready. Put one earplug in.
I can't
you got it,
wait.
Daddy?
You got it. LG,
here we
have
go,
a good
baby.
one.
Go
right.
Browns, baby. Bring me back a win.
Bring back the win. You got it. LG, my man from Cleveland Sports 360. They're going to the jungle. What are they going to do? We're going to talk some more about this when we come back. Let's get the BSK on the line. Kendall Lewis, my man, going to join us here. We'll talk about the Browns at the midway point, Primetime, Browns and Bengals, and more. Since he started it, we'll go in that direction. We're still going to talk. We got the Bengals preview coming up with Jeff Gorman, BJ Rudell, Fantasy Football for Winners. We're still going to talk Cavs and more. A whole lot of fix. We have just popped the top on the bottle. Let's pour a glass, drink it in. The Sports Fix. Kendall Lewis coming up next.
Public service announcement from the Sports Fix. We here at the Sports Fix and our affiliates would like to apologize for any disturbing verbal actions, but remember, it's better having them trapped in a box than loose on the streets. Public service announcement from the Sports Fix. The Sports Fix, the sports show that cares.
Hey, Sports Fix fans, I'm Fred McLeod, TV voice of the Cavaliers. When I'm not busy taking elbows from my buddy Austin Carr, I'm tuning in to see what the guys are saying. Come on, Cavs!
Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize.
I mean, a really real prize.
Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs. There's literally only one place to go. FantasyJocks.com. Football season is party season at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Everyone wins at Harry Buffalo. Every Saturday is Coors Light College Football Saturday with $6 pitchers, 4 bottles for $10, and the Buckeyes in full HD. Football season is most definitely party season, and your headquarters is Harry Buffalo North Olmsted all winter long. Harry Buffalo, join the herd. Sports Fix listeners, like us on Facebook today. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Highlighting the best moments, players, and media members in Cleveland sports history?
He won it! Milo hit a three-pointer on the
In-depth personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book. Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available. Get your copy today.
I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. There's just one place where students are students first and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports help young people become confident leaders and role models and use the skills developed today to do even bigger things in life tomorrow. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Literally, the last time this song was relevant, like the people that they're singing about in this song was the last season that the Browns and the Bengals this late in the season was for anything that had to do with first place. So I thought it was only fitting to go with that. Welcome back to the Sports Fix. J-Rock back with you. Kendall Lewis, the BSK, going to join us here in just a second as we're talking Browns and Bengals in prime time. A whole lot more still to come. Jeff Gorman with the scouting report of the Cincinnati Bengals. BJ Rudell, get you ready. Fantasy football for winners and more. Don't go anywhere. Phone lines, I'm going to open them back up here in a little bit after we get the slate of guests rolling. But you can keep the conversation going. You know how we do it. Facebook, Twitter, email, Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. I'm going to go to the phone lines here. I'm not sure if I've got a caller or if I've got Kendall Lewis. Either way, I'm pretty sure we're talking Browns and Bengals, so I'm going to throw my lot at the phone lines and see what's up. Caller, you're on.
Hello.
Kendall. What's up, my man? I was pretty sure that was you, but I don't have a call screener, so I actually texted you, and I said, is this you that's on hold? But I didn't hear back, so I said, you know what? I'm just going to go with it, and we'll see who's on the line. Either way, I knew I was going to be talking Browns here. Welcome back, my man. It's Thursday. I know the Browns have beaten some bad teams here. I get it, but in any way, do you feel a little jazzed up about tonight's game?
It's an exciting game. I really think that this is a game that will decide pretty much what the fate of football in Cleveland is this year. And the Browns, high mountain to climb, and the other week we'll see how they end up doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about the game here a little bit later, but let's start off. It's the midway point of the season. Matter of fact, yesterday on one of our Facebook pages we put out there, I went through all of us, everybody that predicted the season and what they had for the outlook of the Browns. And at the lowest point, it was 3 wins. At the highest point, it was 7-8 wins. So the majority of people have already seen their predictions at or surpassed from what they thought. You had the Browns at 3-13 here, just doing the schedule thing that we all do. With the Browns 5-3, and how they got there, obviously. They beat some decent teams. They beat some bad teams. They lost to bad teams. They lost to good teams. Let's talk about the first half. Where are you at with how the Browns navigated the first 8 weeks, considering what happened in the meantime, and just the entire of the first half of the season? What are your thoughts on the Browns?
Well, my thoughts are they left 3 victories on the field. I think that in retrospect, looking at this team, looking at their abilities, looking at what they have, they left Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Jacksonville on the field. Conversely, they didn't win a game that they should not have. All 5 wins were wins they earned and should have had. So, in the parlance of NFL, football, the Browns are probably a little bit behind where they should be. Now, that's me looking at it objectively. And I think if your listeners look at it objectively, they'll see that the way the Browns ended the game, the second half against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way they played against the Baltimore Ravens, and definitely the way they played against the Jacksonville Jaguars, even as bad as they played, as poor as they played, and that was the worst game they've played this year, I would imagine.
Yeah.
They still had a chance to win it late, and they didn't, and Jacksonville went on to, extend the lead and win that game. So if you look at those three games, and then you look at the 5 wins they do have, none of the 5 wins are cheap. But consequently, looking at it on the other hand, all of the 3 losses are cheap, cheesy, and should not have happened. So by that logic and by that reasoning, I have to say the Browns should be 8-0. So I have to give them, a D minus on the first half of the season based on that. But then, overall, I thought that at 5 was the edge optimistic. And now they sit here at the linear midway point of the season, 5-3, going to Cincinnati for a huge game, possibly the biggest game in their renaissance. So they have to get an A+ for that. So I think if you put all on balance, look at the wins, the losses, where they are, what they're playing for, how they've performed in the North in the first half of the season, I think you'd have to give them a solid B+, no less than. And I think that the Browns, under normal circumstances, would be looking very good for the second half of the season. However, the second half of the season is as daunting as the first half was hopeful. I mean, in the second half, they've got the Bengals tonight, the Texans next week, the Falcons, the Bills, the Colts, the Bengals, the Panthers, and then the Ravens, right? Not teams they can't compete with, but I don't guess in their current state of repair, teams that they're going to compete hard enough against or beat. I would say they're going to lose tonight, then the Texans are going to beat them, in their current state of repair. And by that I mean, having their center out, not having Josh Gordon, not having many weapons at all. So I'd say that grabs all 8 games, they'll lose and go 5 and end up with a top pick in the draft. I've already schemed. Just hope that the exact opposite and play well down the stretch.
Alex Mack in there, which was something people didn't anticipate, even when they were looking ahead. That would have said, hey, throw in the fact that they're going to lose Alex Mack halfway through the first half as well. People may have even hedged on those 3 and 4 win predictions that they had. But I'm curious if you agree. We know, it's without saying, the effect that losing Alex Mack had on your ability to run the ball, your actual scheming and strategy. But, I mean, I think it's safe to say for so many people that, especially when you get into the quarterback arguments and all of that, that I think some people do not include into the equation of looking at the offense how much losing Mack didn't just hurt, but it retarded the progress of where they were going from week 1 and what they had been building. That changes the equation of how you evaluate things since the injury as well.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. Cleveland doesn't have a lot of tools. They don't have a lot of talent. As you measure them against other teams, you see they're clearly deficient in the talent area. So therefore, it means that the way they play has to be cleaner than, any other team's play. They can't afford mistakes because they don't have the talent, to match up with that. So I would guess that it would be the same because the Cleveland Browns didn't have a lot of talent before Alex Mack went out. So much so that they had to count on a player who has talent but hadn't put it all on the field yet, and Andrew Hawkins, to do things that he heretofore had not done. Yeah. They had to rely on baby rookie backs and Ben Tate playing, shooting his regular. Nobody has really exceeded expectations in that era except the rookies, maybe Andrew Hawkins. Miles Austin has underplayed to his value previously, or what we thought he was in Dallas. So, they are playing. Some guys are over their heads. I would say the rookies are optimal or a little bit above. I would say Ben Tate is a little bit under. I would say Jordan Cameron hasn't scratched the surface yet of what he did last year.